Evening everybody, Silverbolt here, back for my 100th review! Well, video. And as I'm sure that most people who haven't been living in a cave with cotton wool at their nose has realised by now, and of course reading the title page, I'm going to be reviewing Classics Universe 2.0 Silverbolt. Now, long-standing subscribers of mine will remember back in the hearty days of my early YouTube videos, when I was so much younger and so much more naive, that I have, of course, already done a Silverbolt review. Technically, this will be the third Silverbolt video, if you want to argue it that way from a certain point of view, in that I've already done a Superion review, going back well into the day, going very far back. So, long-standing subscribers may remember it. To anybody else who wants to watch it, if you call up my videos, it'll be on the first page, as in page 1, not latest. Now then, in that video of Superion, I stuck to the cartoon continuities for Silverbolt and the rest of the aerial bots, and I did that mainly because I didn't know an awful lot about the comics. So for this review, now that I'm older and wiser, with a few more grey hairs, because believe it or not, I do have a few. I am 27 in, oh my god, a week on Saturday. But anyway, I will be doing Silverbolt's character bio, because obviously I don't just do toy reviews, obviously, from the comics. Now then, in the Marvel comics, Silverbolt and the aerial bots, contrary to the cartoons, are created on Earth by Wheeljack under the orders of Optimus Prime. However, due to Silverbolt's personality, Superion nearly ends up killing a human. And this, of course, is in the days of the Marvel Comics when the Transformers never killed humans. Despite their awesome titanic conflict of these giant transforming robots with weapons of awesome destructive potential, a human being never dies, because they always seem to manage to go, look, that laser bolt's coming at us at the speed of light, jump! Always manage to do something like that. Silverbolt and the rest of the aerial bots end up having their memories wiped and having new memories put in. Unbeknownst to them, though, Bombshell has managed to plant one of his cerebral implant thingy-bobs, and manages to transmit the information back to Megatron, and Megatron is then able to use the knowledge that he gains from the creation of the aerial bots through the creation matrix in order to create the Stunticons. That, of course, again contradicts the cartoons, where in the cartoons the aerial bots were created to combat the Stunticons. The comic has this the other way around. Now, the aerial bots' main storyline is they end up getting captured by Circuit Breaker. To anybody who's read the Marvel cartoons, Circuit Breaker is a delightful person, to say the least. And Circuit Breaker is eventually forced to make a deal with the aerial bots, because the Decepticons at this point as well are rampaging through the city. They're going absolutely balmy. And so Circuit Breaker makes a deal with the aerial bots saying, if you help me stop the Decepticons, I'll let you go. And the aerial bots promptly help us stop the Decepticons, and they do so. Okay, now, Silverbolt's main next appearance is after Optimus Prime dies. His next big part of the storyline is after Optimus Prime dies. And Silverbolt, along with such other Transformers as Perceptor and Hotspot, are one of the ones that agree to make Grimlock leader of the Autobots. A decision which nearly all the Autobots will grow to rue, and one which Blaster has the most terminology ever to turn around and say, I told you so. Because Blaster was very much against Grimlock becoming leader of the Autobots. For those of you who don't know, you could read the novel Hardwired, which has episodes with Grimlock in it. Grimlock basically goes nuts when he becomes leader of the Autobots, and eventually it causes an uprising amongst the Autobots led by Blaster and Bumblebee, which depose him. Now, Silverbolt and the aerial bots' next part in the Marvel comics, can you guess what's coming next? Can you? Was against the underbase powered Starscream, and yes, you've guessed it, they died. They were one of the first to die, incidentally, when they attacked from New York against the underbase powered Starscream. Though they were, of course, eventually reactivated, which led to the Generation 2 comics, which saw Silverbolt get a brief revival in them. Now, in the Dreamwave productions, the Dreamwave Productions have the aerial bots created on Cybertron, taking it back to the cartoon, taking back to the cartoon storylines. And when the Autobots the Autobots then come to Earth and are reformatted into Earth-style jets. Now, when the Autobots get shut down, this is after the Ark, I believe it's after the Ark 2 has crashed. The aerial bots are one of the ones that answers Prime's call to defend the humans from the new Decepticon onslaughts. This is after various Autobots and Decepticons have broken free from the human control that they're under. And I believe that storyline is Transformers Generation 1 Volume 1. I believe that storyline is. Not a bad storyline. Superion features very heavily in that, along with the Decepticon Jassault Devastator, when Superion, in a great act of sacrifice, goes and throws himself in front of a nuclear warhead. Why he just doesn't grab it and redirect it, I don't know. No, Superion goes, ha-ha, boom, and promptly dies. Well, gets incinerated, pretty much. And that's it for the Dreamwave publishings. Now, there has been ideals and rumours behind that Silverbolt will get more of a backstory in the IDW publishings. I haven't read it, so I'm not entirely sure on this, but I believe that Silverbolt is actually in the Spotlight Blaster. But I'm not entirely sure. Okay, now on to the toy itself. And obviously this toy isn't out yet, so I've actually managed to get my hands on it. Though I'm not the only one, because I know that Sean Long's got one, and I know that D-Banks has got his Silverbolt. Though thankfully both have very nicely agreed to not do a proper review of him until this one's up and loaded. Also, Pask, I can't think of his name at the moment. Pask has done a very short video just showing the transformation of the toy, so that's actually very good if you just want to see how it transforms. Though, unlike some Transformers toys, this one's actually transforms extraordinarily easily, especially since it's an Ultra class. It's one of the larger models. Incidentally, Pask's video is very good because for some reason the electronics don't work on mine. Whether it's because they haven't got a battery in, or I don't know. But the electronics don't work on mine. So Pask's video is very good if you want to see the electronics. Now then, transforming it, absurdly simple. So that's going up, and that slots into place there. The legs come down and twist into place. Push the legs out. The hands are just snap and click into place like that. And the final transformation is you put your finger in his groin and push up to get his head. And there we have Universe Silverbolt. His robot mode is very G1ish. It's very G1ish, even down to the uber gangly legs. For those of you who remember the Superion, sorry, not my Superion video, but the Superion, the original Silverbolt toy, both his G1 toy and his G2 toy, had really long gangly legs, and this one has the exact same. His jet mode, of course, is some uber fancy, call the Bolt 25. Ironically, for some reason, it reminds me of an old 80s toy that I used to have a few of, called Ring Raiders. And there was a plane in that looked remarkably like this one, but it was black. But I can't remember what it was called. I believe it was a Russian-style jet. Oh, of course, Silverbolt. The gun does go in here. The gun, of course, spring-mounted missile launcher. I'm getting really good at doing that now. Okay. Now, onto the toy itself is what I think of it. Well, the robot mode. I love the robot mode. I think the robot mode is fantastic. But with it, I feel that there's something I was thinking about it today in work, because I got this toy this morning. I went to the post office and got it, and I'm doing the review this evening because I know that so many people obviously A, want to see it, and B, other people want to do a review of it, and they've, as I said in my subscribers message, they very nicely, agreed to let me do the first one for my 100th video. But I was thinking, and I thought of a word to describe this toy earlier on, but I can't think of it now, ironically enough. And it almost feels like there's something lacking in the toy. Maybe it's because I was expecting more than I was expecting it to be more than that, because obviously I'd first seen the toy and I was like, ooh, I must have that one. I probably came across very gay then. And it's a very simple toy to transform, and that in itself isn't a bad thing, because Classics Jetfire / Skyfire was very easy to transform, and everyone treated that like it was the Katie Leah of Transformers. Or, for those of you who don't know who Katie Leah is, she's very hot. For those of you who don't know who Katie Leah is, maybe, I don't know, Princess Leia Gold Bikini. There you go. Nice geek reference for everybody. And so Jetfire got that kind of response, and he was very simple to transform, and his hands didn't even fold away. So yeah, it does seem that I do feel that there's something missing. Maybe it's the fact that the backs of the legs are open and underneath the hands are open. Then so you look at it from the back, and aside from the fact he looks like he's got a jetpack, the backs of the legs are open. To the point where the plastic is, you can't see it from here, but the plastic is, it's almost see-through. But overall, I really like it. I really do like it. I love the size of it. But I'm a huge fan of the Classics range anyway, to the point that I want to buy all the new Classics, including the repaints of Quick Mix and Cybertron Soundwave, and I think there's actually supposed to be a repaint of Armada Unicron coming out as well for it. So at that point, so I really am a huge fan of the Classics. I mean, I've got all the first set. But yes, I think it is an absolutely lovely toy, apart from the things that I said. It's a very G1 inspired Silverbolt. The head's not quite 100% accurate to G1 Silverbolt, but these wing pieces are, and they're obviously purely for G1 homage to Silverbolt, because they bear no resemblance or part to actually transforming the actual toy itself. Obviously the playing mode does have some resemblances to Concorde. Again, another direct homage to G1 Silverbolt, and of course a lot of the Classics ranges are redoing some of the toys. Why they elected to do Silverbolt, I don't know. Maybe it's because they did Onslaught for the C1 Decepticons, though of course he was the Combaticon leader. They decided they were going to do an Autobot Combiner leader, and fortunately for me, Silverbolt got elected. I mean, he's very poseable, like most of the Classics range. I mean, obviously he doesn't have the kind of posability of Mirage, but he can be put into various suitably heroic fighty poses. Very Autobot-esque. This toy, when it comes out, I believe is going to retail in the UK at about £20, because it is the Ultra Leader class. And I think Power Glide is also another one, which I will be getting at some point. But yes, that is my review of Silverbolt. I've probably waffled on for far too long, so I'm going to try and upload this now, because my friend Sportimus has very gracefully told me that YouTube is now letting everybody upload videos. If it doesn't, then I'll probably splice it down and put it in 2 parts, probably tomorrow morning. But for now, this is Silverbolt. I'll just say this. This is Silverbolt with Silverbolt, signing off, saying au revoir, adios, auf Wiedersehen.